Hey guys, welcome back to the Spicy Dice Boys. This is Zach. I'll be your host for today's game. Coming up, we have a set of 3 battle reports from a January 25th RTT at Huzzah Hobbies in Ashburn, Virginia. I'm playing the High Elves for this event. Friend of the channel, Peter. We did an army showcase for his Bretonian. He is playing the Exiles for this event. I know in the last set of battle reports you saw me win 4 games or so. I don't want you all thinking that we're only going to be posting, wins for the Spicy Dice Boys on the channel. You're going to get pretty much a full range of all these games that are getting played, so you can see actually what happens on the tabletop. People make mistakes, people win games, people lose games. I am no different than anybody else. So, going over the High Elf list that I brought, I brought a Prince on a Star Dragon with a solid tanky save. There's a BSB on a Griffin with some more tanky saves and a Battle Banner for D3 extra combat resolution. My core is filled with Silver Helms and Reavers. Rare is 2 Sky Cutters and 2 units of Sisters of Avalorn. I am actually rushing to get the group of this painted because I have a GT coming up February 1st weekend. So hopefully by the time you guys are watching this, I have the army fully painted and ready to go. Let's see here. Luke is my opponent. He is playing Chaos Dwarfs. These are awesomely painted old hammer kind of miniatures. There's 2 Iron Demons, which are like the steam tank equivalents. Big unit of Black Orcs with great weapons. 1 Black Orc Big Boss, War Boss, I'm not sure exactly the name, on a Black Orc Boar Chariot. A whole lot stronger than I thought it was going to be. More on that to come. There is a wizard on a Bale Taurus, I think. Whatever the biggest, beefiest kind of mount that they can take. I'm going to get the name wrong. There are some mandatory, I think, fire glaives. These like kind of Chaos Dwarf warriors with like the halberds that can shoot. Mandatory to take him, so he has a unit of those. And then 2 units of hobgoblins with short bows. This is kind of the deployment here. The High Elves are focusing on shooting in the center with most of the beef on the left side. 1 small Sky Cutter on the right to try to handle some of the Hobgoblin shooting. And Chaos Dwarfs, same thing. Some shooting on the right-hand side, 2 Steam Tanks front and center to drive up, and a unit of Black Orcs behind a low linear obstacle ready to take on some charges. Alright, let's go forward. So, the High Elf turn 1. The Sky Cutters on the right-hand side marched up as far as it could. The left Sky Cutter wanted to stay out of range of the Iron Demon's charge. BSB on the left flew up out of line of sight as well to try to get some flank pressure. Dragon moved up front and center. I stayed out of range of the Frenzy for the Black Orcs. And some of my Reavers shifted over to the left. Let's try to figure out how to be useful. And then pretty much just moved up a little bit with some Sisters of Avalorn to get some shooting off. Let's see, I don't think there was too much shooting besides the Hobgoblins on the right-hand side took some wounds and fell back in good order, barely hanging on to the table there, as you can see at the top side. But yeah, nothing too eventful in the High Elf turn 1, just a lot of positioning. Oh yeah, I wanted to get a close-up of Luke's models here. These things are awesome. Both Steam Tanks, the unit of Black Orcs, the Bale Taurus Wizard you'll see shortly. These are awesomely painted models. I think they might have gotten Best Painted at this event. I think so. I'll come back to that. Oh, yeah. Here's the chariot. Black Orc Big Boss on a Black Orc Boar Chariot. Gets in combat with my Griffin, which you'll see shortly. Awesomely painted models. And the Wizard with the awesome hat. I love Chaos Dwarfs. They just have the silly hats they got. It's my favorite part of the army. But yeah, so Chaos Dwarf turn 1. The chariot does wah and charges the BSB on the Griffin, which I was a little surprised about. I didn't realize that was going to be a good fight for him. The Bull Centaur flies, or maybe it's a Bale Taurus, flies up to help buff the chariot with Storm of Ash, so it's -1 to hit that chariot. There is a spell, Steed of Shadows, that's casted on the Black Orc, so they are able to basically fly 12 movements, so they march 24. So they squeeze in very nicely between my Dragon and Sky Cutter. The Sky Cutter, as you can see, is no longer there because the Iron Demon blasted that straight off the board. Iron Demon in the center marches up, does some shooting wounds to the Sisters of Avalorn, and I think that's about it for shooting. Combat-wise, the Chariot ends up doing, I think, 3 wounds to my 5 wound BSB. I fall back in good order. They pursue that Chariot. I think it ends up doing 12 attacks between the crew plus the character. They're great weapons with choppas, so I think they're like strength 6 or strength 7, AP 3, maybe 4 on an armor bane. This thing is just, it mowed down this BSB like it was a blade of grass. That BSB has a 3-up, 5-up, 5-up save, and it just cut through it like a knife through butter. All right. Scooch on to the top of High Elf 2. The BSB on the Griffin does continue to fight that Chariot, does not survive the combat, and actually just dies in the combat. The Dragon did reform to try to protect that flank that has pretty much crumbled. The Silver Helms did charge the unit of Black Orcs that flew basically right up in front of them. They have nowhere to go. They got to do something. Skycutter on the right does fail a charge on those, I'm going to call them Fireglaves, but those Chaos Warriors. Took some wounds, failed the charge, unfortunately, so we are stuck out in the middle of nowhere. A couple shots of the steam tank on the hill from the Sisters of Avalorn did maybe a wound or two. Reposition those Reavers because they are not in a good spot. And with that combat with the Silver Helms into the Black Orcs, they do give ground, I'm pretty sure. Could be a fallback in good order, but I think it might be a fallback in good order. But yeah, they basically survive the combat, go backwards, Silver Helms pursue up, and see what they can do in a second round of combat here. But this is the High Elves trying to scramble to mitigate some damage here. Yes, here's the picture of the left side of my flank that is completely gone. Iron Demon, Wizard on a Bale Taurus, and that BSB on the Chariot just have control of that left flank completely. On to Chaos Dwarf, bottom of turn 2. The Black Orcs do... Ooh, let's see here. What did I miss? I missed something, didn't I? No, okay. Black Orcs don't charge the Silver Helms. Black Orcs continue to fight against those Silver Helms. The Silver Helms do lose, and they fall back in good order through the Sisters of Avalorn. The shooting... The Iron Demon does scoot up and shoot again at the Sisters of Avalorn. The Iron Demon on the hill on the left does mow down a large portion of the Reavers that were there. And the Wizard on the Bale Taurus flies up and keeps that Storm of Ash going. That -1 to hit and that bubble around the Bale Taurus is actually pretty big. It's really tough to fish any wounds through. But yeah, the right side, that Skycutter was dead to rights once it failed its charge. The writing's on the wall here. The High Elves are getting kind of pinned in the corner, and it's tough to kind of break out. This Dragon's going to have to try to create some room. And let's see what happens during High Elf turn 3. That Dragon does charge the Iron Demon on the hill. Hopefully try to make some quick work of it to help out the rest of the army. Interesting scenario here. In order for the Silver Helms to charge the Black Orcs, they were getting blocked by Sisters of Avalorn. So in order to kind of make room, the Sisters of Avalorn actually charged the Iron Demon to get out of the way so that those Silver Helms can charge the Black Orcs. That was the only thing I could think of to try to turn the game around. But it ended up not working. The Sisters just got mowed down by the Iron Demon, and the Silver Helms did not do well versus the Black Orcs. They lost some folks, and I believe I just gave ground and ended up getting pursued. So we're just kind of holding there for one more turn. And the steam tank did give ground. The Dragon pursued up. I did not kill it in one turn of combat like I wanted to. And the Reavers on the left-hand side, Oh yeah, I missed that. The Reavers actually charged the Black Orcs on the flank as well to try to add some extra damage and some combat res. They actually fled. Whereas the Silver Helms gave ground, the Reavers are actually just running. They're gone. They're like, no, we don't want nothing to do with this. Okay, Chaos Dwarves, bottom of 3. Those Black Orcs beat down the rest of the Silver Helms. The Iron Demon, I keep calling it a Steam Tank. The Iron Demon charges the remaining unit of Sisters and just runs them over. The Black Orc on the Chariot charges those fleeing Reavers. They run right off the board. I don't even think that either shooting the Hobgoblins really move up anywhere. They're out of the game. They did their part with the Skycutter. They're just kind of chilling. The Steam Tank does survive another round of fighting versus the Dragon. And I actually test a Restrain with the Dragon because I feel like if I would get any points out of this game, I'm going to have to try to charge the Wizard on the Bale Taurus, who's kind of in range, and see if I can sneak out some extra points there. And moving into High Elf turn 4, that Dragon does get into combat with the Wizard. We end up fighting for, I think, a couple rounds of combat before we end up calling it for time. Dragon does not end up killing that Wizard. And the High Elves lose everything on the board. So pretty much the only thing left alive is that Dragon. And points-wise, I don't have an exact figure for you guys this game. We were kind of moving and shaking pretty fast to get to the second round. We knew that the High Elves definitely lost. And the only thing I had left was, I think, a 500-point Dragon. So I was like, you got 1,500 points. I didn't kill anything on the board, but I got some partial points here and there for the Iron Demons. So I think it ended up shaking out to be like a 21-4, some kind of like the scoring differential. It ended up being a major win for the Chaos Dwarfs. So Luke went on to go on to table 1 for his next game, and I dropped down and ended up playing. I will not spoil it. I'll wait for you guys to see the next battle report to see who I play for round 2. But again, solid win for the Chaos Dwarves. Luke was a great opponent. Hope to see him come out to more events. I played him before with his Beastmen. I think the Chaos Dwarves are definitely more spicy than the Beastmen. And I definitely learned how strong those Black Orcs on the Chariot are. They are just absolute beasts. But yeah, so rounds 2 and 3, we're already 0-1. Might as well let the drinking commence because there's a bar on site here. So let's get a couple beverages and have a good time in the next couple rounds. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.